Hey folks, welcome to week 10 of DMD 330 social media. I hope you are all doing well and taking good care of yourselves. Okay, so what are we doing this week? Let's take a look at the syllabus. All right, so here in week 10, we would normally have been meeting March 30th, April 1st, and April 3rd. We're going to focus this week on online display ads. Before we get to that, though, just a look back last week at week 9. You guys were to be working on the drafts of your Instagram and Twitter content. So those are due to be uploaded to Canvas today, March 30th. So make sure that you upload your Instagram and Twitter content for draft review up to Canvas today on March 30th. I'll take a look at those, give you some feedback, and then you'll be able to move on from there. All right, so back to week 10. So we're going to be dealing with online display ads. We're going to be talking about what those are, how they work, what they're all about. We'll talk a little bit about the idea of traffic coordination. No, that has nothing to do with cars. We're going to show some examples, and you guys are going to work on those this week. They are due April 3rd, which is the Friday of this week, okay? All right, so let's take a look. What the heck are online display ads? Well, they are simply advertising that appears on the internet on various websites. No matter what website you go to, whether it be Entertainment Weekly, you'll notice that as you scroll through it, some advertising will appear. You know, this here is the content of Entertainment Weekly, but you'll see up here at the top there is an advertisement that pops up. This is sort of a long horizontal rectangle. This is an ad for Xfinity Mobile. And it sort of pops up as you scroll through the website. And if I can continue to scroll along, I'll see some other ads pop up. Oh, look, there's another one. Find historical fonts. Oh, that sounds really interesting. And then embedded within the website itself, not just up here in the header, you'll see there's another ad, also a long horizontal rectangle. This is one for Volvo, and so on and so forth. So advertising on the web is not a lot different than advertising you might see in magazines or newspapers. Let's look at some other examples. Even websites like the New York Times, which is a more serious website, it's a news website, not really an entertainment website like Entertainment Weekly. You would think they would be free of advertising, but of course they're not. They have to make money too, and we'll talk about how people make money off ads in a little bit. But as I'm scrolling through the New York Times website here, sure, it's all stories and news and important things, but as I sort of go along, eventually I will get to an advertisement. Now, websites like the New York Times tend to do a better job of delineating that something is an advertisement. You'll see here above this ad for best luxury cars for seniors, it says in very small font, advertisement, so that the viewer is very clear this is an ad and not part of the rest of the New York Times content. In fact, you'll see it's even sitting on a light gray bar so that it further differentiates it from the rest of the website. But despite their efforts to sort of tell you that it's an advertisement and not part of their news content, it very clearly is an advertisement. And they need advertisements to be able to keep moving along. This one here is for Genesis, and so on and so forth. Other websites put more ads on their site. So for example, this is IMDb. Now their website ads tend to be a little more specific to what they're all about, which of course is movies. So here is an ad for this Amazon original show, The Expanse. Sure, it's about movies or television, but it's an advertisement nonetheless. And then as you sort of make your way through the website, they have other ads which are not really specific to their content. Like here they have a sort of squarish rectangular ad for Xfinity Mobile again. Now these spaces on the websites are generally set aside specifically for advertising, meaning that if it's not this ad, it'll be a different ad. And every month or every week or however the time period is delineated, they will fill these spots with different advertising. Even throughout the same day, as you saw in the Entertainment Weekly one, the ads would just change. So IMDb also puts ads on as well. Now, some websites are really bad and put a lot of advertising on there, which really kind of gets in the way of the content. One example of that is Citation Machine, which is a website I have students use to create really nice citations for their writing. It's a good service, it's a good site, but it's a free service, and so they have to make money some way, and so they have 2 ad spaces up at the top. Oddly, both of these spaces are filled with the same ad from Grammarly, which seems a little defeatist. to have the same two ads eating up two different spots. You'll notice on the left-hand side, there's a tall, thin ad also for Grammarly over here. Down here, there's that same rectangular ad also for Grammarly. Down at the bottom, there's what you call an overlay ad, meaning that it doesn't move, it just sits there the whole time. It's sort of affixed to the bottom of the website. Again, for Grammarly, clearly Grammarly paid a lot of ad money to be on Citation Machine. And so on and so forth. So they have a lot of ad space. And then some are just so bad that it just really gets in the way of the enjoyment of the site. This here is a blog about comic book movies, and you'll see that not only do they have regular advertisements that will pop up as we scroll, but they have these pop-up ads that live on top of the content that are video ads. So they're not just stationary ads, they're literally like trailers or various types of video ads like this one here. Now you can X out of them, of course, but they continue to reappear, so they're a little invasive. And then as we go through the site, other advertisement can pop up as we go. So it really depends on the site, but really there are very few websites that don't use advertising, with the exception of nonprofit websites. If you go to anything that's a .org website, you probably won't see a lot of advertising because they're a nonprofit, but any other website will. Now, I mentioned that advertising on websites is extremely similar to advertising in magazines, and so the way it works is that there is ad space that is set aside in both print and web spaces, and those ad spaces are preset sizes that are then sold to advertisers who want to pay for the space on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, however the time frame works out for that particular publication. Those sizes are preset because each size, of course, has a price range attached to it, and the department on the website that handles that is known as the traffic department, which is an odd name for the department that handles advertising because it makes you think of cars and rush hour traffic, but in fact they handle the selling and placement of advertising. Now, one of the online companies that handle this, not surprisingly, is owned by Google, called Google AdWords. So there's a handout in your Week 10 folder all about Google AdWords display ads. This sort of gets into the background about Google AdWords, why display advertising exists, what it's all about, what are the rules and restrictions for using Google AdWords. Talks a little bit about how to design and size your ads, which we'll look at in a bit. They even give you tips for designing your ads, using colors, how to make a nice clear call to action. So you need to read this handout because it will give you guys some really good tips and tricks for designing your ads, because that's what you're going to do. You're going to design some ads to use for your social media campaign. So be sure to read this handout for not only your basic textbook reading for the week, but to give you some good insight as to how to make them. Okay, let's talk sizes. So like I said, online ads or online display ads are sold by size, and we saw some repeating sizes on those website examples we looked at. And so the three we're going to deal with here is, the first one is the half page ad. And so you can see here, this is sort of a basic representation of a page layout. And then a half page is 300 pixels by 600 pixels vertical, as this example shows. And you can see that they often are set on either the right side or the left side of the website. So these are called half page ads. Then there's what they call the large rectangle, which we saw a bunch of those on the Citation Machine website. These are 336 pixels by 280 pixels, and they're almost squarish rectangles. And then the last one is what we call the large mobile banner, which is the long, thin one. And this particular one is 320 pixels by 100 pixels. So you guys are going to design some of these. But before we get into the specifications, let's look at a few examples that were in that Google AdWords handout. So these are important to pay attention to, in that online advertising should be thought of similarly to billboards that you might see on the side of a road or on a highway, in that people don't spend a lot of time looking at them. If you're visiting a website, if you're visiting the New York Times or Entertainment Weekly or any website, you're there for their content. You want to read the news or you want to read about some celebrity or whatever. You're not there for the advertising. Advertising is, of course, meant to get your attention and hopefully draw you toward it. And, of course, the difference between online advertising and print advertising is these are interactive. If you click on them, they take you somewhere. And so the call to actions are very clearly interactive, where, of course, in print and magazines, you can tap on it with your finger all day and it won't take you anywhere. So they have the added bonus of being interactive. And so if you look at this one here, you'll see that there's not a ton of type. Just like billboards, you don't want to give people too much to read because they're in a hurry. They're not going to stop and read it. It's got a nice, interesting image. Good use of negative space, meaning using the sky in this photograph to hold the type. There's the logo of the item that is being advertised, right? Alpine Glow or Alpenglow. And then it has a small bit of text, right? Everest, summit with us in half the time. And then the call to action, start your adventure, is a button. It is literally will take you to the site. Now, what's funny about this is it's only a graphical button because it isn't independent of the image. The entire image is the button, but people are so used to clicking on things on websites that resemble buttons that this will get them to really want to click on it more than if you just assumed they would click anywhere on the picture. So again, nice engaging image, not a ton of typography, very clear call to action. Another one, this here is a long rectangle banner. Similar idea. The logo right here for the AAAA boat people. Nice graphic of a boat. Some really simple text. 2 free months of boat storage. Well, that sounds great. I need to put my boat somewhere for 2 months. And then the call to action. Get my 2 free months. And again, it's in the shape of a button. Not because this is the only place you need to click to go somewhere. You could click anywhere on the ad and it will take you to their website. But people are so used to clicking on buttons that it's really a good idea to make your call to action resemble a button. You're really tapping into the psychology of what people are used to in websites. Now, this one here is a half-page ad. We talked about that. You're going to design one of these too. A large vertical rectangle. Similar thing, right? You've got your logo, you've got a really basic bit of text just telling you a little bit about what's going on. Engaging image. This, of course, is a composite image. You've got the radar detector item here plus the image. And then it gives you the call to action. Send me more information. Again, not only looks like a button, but has a couple of arrows, just in case you weren't clear on what to do. So read through the Google ad handout. That'll give you some insight, but then these are some good examples included in that to think about, including how to actually lay out the image. Notice these are laid out with a grid, drawing the eye. Remember, in this part of the world, we read from left to right, top to bottom, so you want to draw the viewer's eye down this way, or in a Z pattern, which will take them in and through, right? Same thing here, right? Gets people, reads Born to Fly, down, see the logo, and boom, you're out of there again. So think about these sort of basic techniques in terms of readability. Now, the long, thin rectangle banners, the Z pattern doesn't really work so much as strictly from left to right all the way across. You want to start people here and move them across that way. Okay, so that's what you're going to be designing. Let's look and see how this plays out into our assignment. Let's take a look at our semester assignment here and take a look at the specific deliverable. Okay, moving on, scrolling. Okay, so online display ads. So you guys are going to design one of each of the examples I just showed you. You're going to design one large rectangle, which again is 336 pixels by 280, one half-page ad, which is 300 by 600, and one large mobile banner, which is 320 by 100. Now, of course, all of these are in support of your entire ad campaign. So far, you've got drafts of your Facebook content done, drafts of Instagram and Twitter content done, and now we're moving on to the display ads. Now remember, display ads appear in a way that is sort of unexpected to people. You're visiting somebody else's website and they just appear. So how might the content be a little different on here than when you're displaying information on your company's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter? The people who visit your Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter are there for you. They're there for your company. so they know what they're getting themselves into, so you can be a little more detailed in your conversation or a little more familiar. Here with the online display ads, you're advertising to an unknown audience, and so it has to be more brief, more direct, and really sort of gain their attention. So think about how that content is going to play into your marketing campaign and try to make some thoughtful choices about that for sure. Okay, so hopefully that is all clear to you guys. You're going to work on your online display ads this week. Now remember, as usual, you can create them either using Adobe Spark. If you're going to do Adobe Spark, the way you would do it is go to your Get Started Now section, go to Create a Project, and instead of using any of the templates, you're going to go down to Custom Size Graphic, and then you're going to punch in the size that you need, right? So let's say we're doing the large rectangle. We need 336 by 280. So you would simply come over here and type in 336 by 280. Make sure the unit of measure is set to pixels. Hit Next. And it will take you into Adobe Spark with the appropriate size and shape and resolution for your ad. And now, of course, you can go ahead and build your ad as you would like. And of course, if you don't want to use Adobe Spark, you are certainly welcome to use Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop to create them however you would like. Now, these do not need to be mounted into any sort of fake environment. We don't need to make a fake website to put them on. You just need to upload the ads. When you are done with them, they are going to be uploaded to Canvas on Friday under Assignments. Right here, your online display ads draft review. It's due on April 3rd at 9 p.m. You will upload all 3 of them there. And then this way I can review them, give you guys some feedback, and we'll go from there. Okay, so if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, or whatnot, be sure to email me. I am certainly happy to hear from everybody. I would be happy to chat with you and go over anything you need some clarity on. But your teams of people are focusing squarely on online display ads this week after you have uploaded your Instagram and Twitter content today on the 30th. All right, good luck with creating these. Again, if you need some help, let me know, and have a good week.